Hello. So before I start this video, I just want to say a little disclaimer quickly. I apologize if you hear this stupid ass alarm noise in the background.
Shut the fuck up already.
I don't know what that is, or why it has been doing that. All I know is that it's been coming from this fucking sewer tunnel construction site down the road from where I live, and it has just been going off ever since last night as I'm recording this bit. There's nothing I can do about it, so unfortunately, you just have to deal with that noise in the background. Sorry about that. Anyway, here's the video.
Hello everyone, it's me, FnafFan Productions, the big, lanky, ugly mug flesh himself once again. So if you're blind and you haven't read the title, today's video is going to be quite different. Not really something you would expect from me. Although to be honest, saying that, that's most of my videos nowadays anyway. So that probably didn't surprise you in the slightest. Why is this video different, you may ask? Well, today I'm going to talk to you about anime. Yeah, no, right? Not something you would ever see on the FnafFan Productions channel, and to be honest, it's not something I ever thought I would talk about either, but here we are. So for the past 5 years, I've had a growing interest in anime after watching various shows, OVAs, and movies. Prior to that, I was never really into it. In fact, I was one of those stupid ass kids who thought anime was so utterly cringe, and you had never been able to convince me that it wasn't. Yes, you heard that right, I thought anime was cringe as a child. And I was also a huge Five Nights at Freddy's fan at the time. So my opinions weren't really valid. But then 2020 happened and we were all in lockdown because of the coronavirus. And I was so bored out of my arse and I was doing a lot of things to keep myself entertained. And it was at that point where I began to get curious about anime, and so I began watching many shows and movies on Netflix and YouTube. And I even began rewatching some older anime shows that I used to watch as a child. Shows that I didn't even know were anime in the first place. And it was at that point where I came to the conclusion that I'm an anime fan. I mean, I'm not. No way. Absolutely not. Anime? Well, what's that? That's so fucking cringe, isn't it? You see, this is where it gets kind of confusing. I do like anime, but I wouldn't call myself an anime fan, per se. Because I don't really think I would really fit into that category of people. You know, I'm not the kind of anime fan that immediately watches an anime as soon as they wake up. I'm not the kind of anime fan who spends days rewatching One Piece. I'm just a very casual guy who watched a small number of lesser known animes that hardly anyone knows or has watched. That's really it. So this video's title is sort of not a joke, but fuck it, I'm not an anime fan. And I'm also not trans either. To all my fucking friends on Discord.
What animes have you watched?
Well, lucky for you, I've watched quite a lot of animes over the years, and so much so that it's given me enough content to make a rundown video. So this is that. So anyway, without further ado, grab your ramen and your suspiciously sticky and smelly body pillows, and let's dive in and talk about all the animes that I'm a fan of. I mean, I'm not a fan of. Because I'm not an anime fan.
So before my love of anime began to take shape in 2020, my very first anime experience that I have ever watched was this, Yokai Watch from 2014. So if you don't know what Yokai Watch is, first of all, what the fuck is wrong with you?
You disgrace! You suck!
And second of all, it's basically a Pokemon clone, but a very, very good one. The show was all about a young boy by the name of Nate.
And if you're Japanese, you can find out what his Japanese name is yourself.
Who was walking around in the woods one day and stumbles upon an old machine that is basically one of those crappy ball machines you find in a shopping centre where if you open it, you get a shitty toy.
Holy shit! It's a Pokemon!
But when Nate opens up a ball from the machine, a creature shoots out of the ball and reveals himself to be Whisper, who is a yokai.
I am a yokai. I am gay.
Who are actually based off of real Japanese folklore entities of the same name, which I had no idea up until writing this video. Yokais are basically supernatural beings that can take any shape or form with any magical powers they want, and they basically get up to mischief. So basically Japanese gremlins. Whisper then gives Nate a special watch which allows him to detect and spot yokais.
Oh my god, roll credits, name of the show, someone get Cinema Sins and get a million sins on that counter.
And after that, Nate and Whisper go on crazy adventures to save the people of Nate's hometown town of Springdale from mischievous yokais by taming yokais and using tamed yokais to fight other yokais to tame more yokais. Does that make sense enough?
No, it doesn't.
Good.
Now, unlike most animes that are based off of mangas, the Yokai Watch anime is based off of the video game franchise with the same name, made in 2013 for the Nintendo 3DS, developed by Level 5 Studios. And if any of you are wondering, yes, I have played the very first game on the Nintendo 3DS. However, I got stuck on a very hard puzzle, so I gave up and I never touched it again.
But while I may not have liked the game, I absolutely loved the anime that came out a year after the game's release. And while it may be a very shameless Pokemon ripoff, it is a very good ripoff. The humor is great, the animation is great, the voices are questionable, at least in the English dub anyway.
I can't believe it. They're fighting over yogurt. Seriously, who fights over yogurt?
It's just overall a very underrated anime. If you like Pokemon and you want to watch something similar to Pokemon that tries to be original and has good quality, production-wise, highly recommend Yokai Watch. Fantastic anime, honestly. 10 out of 10.
So like I said earlier, my interest in anime started to take off in 2020 because we were all locked down and I was just very, very bored. So I began watching anime out of curiosity, and this was the very first anime I watched in 2020, the 2003 iteration of Astro Boy.
Now, I'm sure I don't think I really need to explain who Astro Boy is. If you're an anime fan, unlike me, because I'm not, you have definitely seen or have heard of this little twat at one point or another. But to those who haven't heard of him, here's a brief history.
So Astro Boy was first made as a manga series all the way back in 1952, made by the god of manga himself, Osamu Tezuka. And the manga itself would become so popular that it would get a total of 3 anime adaptations in total. One in 1963, another in 1980, and another in 2003. Oh yeah, and there was also this stupid-ass preschool show of Astro Boy as well, but...
Hey kid with the pointed head, stop touching me, will you?
I'm not gonna talk about that.
Dirty fucking clanker.
But that's irrelevant.
We're talking about the 2003 iteration of Astro Boy. So what is it about?
Well, the show is all about a humanoid robot by the name of Astro, who was created by this insane scientist by the name of Dr. Temna in memory of his dead son Taboel, who died in a horrific traffic accident.
Kind of like Charlie's story arc from the Five Nights at Freddy's books, where she was like built in the memory of Charlotte, who was Henry's dead daughter, except Astro is aware that he's a robot. And Astro doesn't have multiple versions of himself from childhood and adulthood. And Astro doesn't get horny with Colton in a diner.
But shortly after Astro was completed, Dr. Temna's facility explodes, which causes Astro to shut down and lose his memory of being Tobio. Then a couple of years later, Astro is reactivated by the Minister of Science, Dr. O'Shea. And because Astro has lost his memory, he develops a new personality and name and completely forgets he was a human boy. So now, with Tobio's new name, Astro Boy, he now works for the Ministry of Science, saving the world from villains.
So yeah, that is the whole story and lore of Astro Boy in a nutshell. I know the lore of Astro Boy, or at the very least in the 2003 iteration anyway, goes a lot deeper than this, but it's way too complicated and complex for me to even be asked to look into this deeply, so fuck you. Anyway, back on track. Why do I like this iteration of Astro Boy so much?
I like the 2003 iteration of Astro Boy more because unlike the other iterations in the past where they were more like goofy cartoons, especially the 1980 iteration of it.
What? A boy robot?
A boy robot? What in the world for?
After all, this is a kid's show, isn't it?
Shut up! This is an order from the Minister of Science and Technology!
The 2003 iteration of Astro Boy took a dark and semi-serious approach story-wise, especially towards the end of the series where the creators explored the Dr. Temna and Tobio lore, something that has never really been explored all that much in its previous iterations, as well as Astro's existential crisis where he gets depressed over the fact that he's not who people say he is. This show overall has very serious topics that were never really explained or covered at all in its previous iterations.
I definitely recommend watching the 2003 era of Astro Boy if you're getting into this franchise and you like very serious, in-depth stories like I do. So yeah, anyway, that was my second anime experience. But before we get into my third experience, I just want to say something real quick. I never really had a passionate connection with these animes that I've watched. I still like them, but I don't like them in the same way I like Event Horizon or Five Nights at Freddy's. That is until last year in 2024 when I watched a particular anime that made me develop a very passionate connection with. And that anime was Ranma 1/2.
Oh boy, Ranma 1/2. So Ranma 1/2 is definitely the most interesting anime out there, and probably one of the most iconic animes ever, in my opinion.
It was first made as a manga comic book series written by Rumiko Takahashi, the same gal who also made other iconic characters in series such as One Pound Gospel and Yuzuru Yatsura.
Ranma 1/2 then got its first ever anime adaptation in 1989, produced by Studio Dean, and was broadcasted on Fuji TV from 1989 to 1992. And since then, the anime has garnered a massive cult following thanks to the release of several dubs on multiple TV channels and VHS releases around the world. And in 2024, it was even given a reboot produced by Netflix, which will probably last for about 3 seasons, and then it will get cancelled and removed, and if you want to watch it, then you're on your own. Maybe wait for it to release on Crunchyroll or something, or just don't watch stuff on streaming platforms at all and just pirate stuff. It's a lot easier.
Also, I have watched the reboot in case you're wondering. Oh my god, a new episode's coming.
So yeah, that was Ranma 1/2's history in a nutshell. Now what's the anime about? Fuck, how do I say this without cringing so hard? Basically, Ranma 1/2 is about a teenage martial artist called Ranma Saotome, who one day, while training in a place filled with cursed lakes in China, Ranma then falls into a lake where if you swim in it, you turn into a girl. And since then, Ranma has an unfortunate curse where if he is doused with cold water, he turns into a girl, and if he's doused with hot water, he turns back into a boy. So basically gender fluid people in a nutshell. And throughout the show, Ranma gets into crazy situations as battling his enemies who have the hots for his gender forms, and his relationship with tomboy Akane.
It's basically a romantic comedy, but on severe steroids.
So what is it about Ranma 1/2 that made me like this anime so much more than the other animes I've watched prior?
First of all, it's not the reasons you're probably thinking right now.
And second of all, I like Ranma 1/2 so much because it was an anime that was really ahead of its time. It tackled a lot of crazy topics like transgenderism and Akane's accidental bisexuality with her romantic moments with Ranma, both in his male and female forms. Bear in mind, this kind of shit was illegal in Japan at the time, and it was never really covered or talked about at all in Japanese media. So Ranma 1/2 was definitely made in a very well time, and I find it fascinating that a show like this was even allowed to broadcast.
The jokes in Ranma 1/2 are definitely very dated, like most movies and shows from the 1980s. Like, I bet if Ranma 1/2 was made now, the entire LGTB+ community would cancel the living shit out of the creators.
Also, can you imagine what Ranma 1/2 must have been like for the average horny Japanese viewer? Like, imagine the reaction on everyone's faces when they watched Ranma 1/2 for the first time and watched female Ranma turning back into a boy after their quick tugs.
Oh yeah, come on. Come on, let's go. Come on. Yeah, come on, let's go. Let's go, yeah, come on.
Oh, fuck. I'm gay! Like, if you gooned to female Ranma, you're technically gay. By accident. Welcome to the club.
So yeah, Ranma 1/2 is overall a very insanely offensive, but a very funny and enjoyable anime. 10 out of 10.
And, yeah, that's all of the animes I've watched. I mean, I didn't watch. I didn't like them. Not at all. Because I'm not an anime fan. But no, seriously. Thank you for watching. I hope it was informative and entertaining. If you're trying to get into anime, I definitely recommend watching these four specifically to get started. They're very entertaining, amazing, and just overall great to watch. There's not much I can think of to describe it, except just watch them. Just go out there, go on Crunchyroll, go on Netflix, and just watch them. But yeah, anyway, this is enough from me now. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Threads. Join my Discord server. Invite link is available in the About page and the pinned comments. And I shall see you all next time. Bye-bye.